This lecture is part of a course entitled Complete Guide for Water Treatment Plant Design. You can find the link in the description. Hello and welcome to this new lecture that will be about the tube settlers. In this lecture, we will first start by a quick overview about the sedimentation process. Then we will understand the tube settlers principle. Then we will go through the types of tube settlers, the maintenance and cleaning of the tube settlers, and finally the advantages and disadvantages. Let's start by a quick overview of a treatment process, a typical water treatment process. Here we are talking about municipal water treatment. So as you know, a water contains particles. So we are talking about raw water, so untreated water. It has particles, so it can have small particles, big particles, all types that make the water turbid. And to get rid of these particles, first we have to use a bar screen. A bar screen usually removes very big particles. So we are talking about tree branches, big stones, plastic bags, etc. So let's say objects or big objects. Then we have a very crucial step, which is the coagulation and flocculation. As a quick overview of this step, in the coagulation process, we add a coagulant, and sometimes we can help it with a polymer. And this coagulant will actually make the small particles clump together, so they will stick together to make a bigger particle. So in the coagulation process, we actually add the chemical and we rapid mix this chemical with the water for few seconds, usually like 30 seconds. Then we have the coagulation process that takes like 30 minutes. We have here slow mixing that will help the small particles, like they will clump together, they will stick together, and then they will form bigger particles. So the small particles will form bigger particles that are easier to settle down. The goal is to make these particles as big as possible to be able to settle down by gravity as quickly as possible. So after the coagulation and flocculation comes the sedimentation. This is where the formed particles settle down, and they will form the sludge layer that we need to get rid of it. Then the clear water will go through filtration to polish the water and remove, let's say, the leftovers. And finally, we can disinfect the water using chlorination, and our water is ready for storage and distribution. Now, our key focus in this lecture is the tube settlers that come in the sedimentation part. We will discover why a tube settler is an important technology, let's say, that can enhance the sedimentation process with a way smaller footprint. So we need less volume to reach a clarified water. What we are seeing here is a typical tank for sedimentation. So this tank usually comes after the coagulation and flocculation in the conventional way of treating water. So we let the water settle down. So we let the particles settle down. But notice here that some particles settle down quickly, notice, and other particles need to travel a lot. So for example, this particle had to travel a lot before reaching the bottom. And what is the consequence of this very long travel? It is actually the need of a very big tank. And consequently, we will have a higher cost, slower process, and we will need large areas. Sometimes we don't really have space. These are the main disadvantages of using the conventional sedimentation tank. What can we do to help or to enhance this process? We can use a tube settler. So within this tank, we can introduce tube settlers that have these shapes. So notice we have tubes that are inclined and are put in series. These are also known as plate settlers or lamella clarifiers. And this will actually increase the settling performance within the sedimentation basin. So we are talking about inclined plates or channels that provide a settling surface area for particles in both wastewater treatment and also municipal water treatment. How does this work? So this is typically a tank, a sedimentation tank with the tube settlers. These are the tube settlers. The water enters and flows to the bottom of the tank. Some particles will start settle down directly. So these are the heavy particles, let's say. And while the water is flowing naturally up, so as you know, we are filling a tank. So normally the water will start going up through the tube settlers. The smaller particles will actually start settling within these tube settlers, and they will settle down on the plate. So they will settle on the inclined plate and then they will slide down. So as the water moves up, notice the water is moving up while the particles will be sliding down to reach the sludge hopper. What is important here is to have a laminar flow or a calm flow. The water needs to be flowing calmly, not in a turbulent way. Otherwise, the efficiency will be very low, the settling efficiency will drop, and the particles will stay within the water. At the end of the process, so when the water will reach the top of the tank, it will be a clarified water or a clear water, and then it will be collected for further treatment through filtration. Now here we have a closer look on the tube settler. So as I have already said, that tube settlers are inclined or sloped at an angle of 60 degrees. So this is the angle and this is 60 degrees. And while the water is flowing up, the particles will start settling down by gravity. And notice the distance of the settling is actually very low compared to a traditional tank. This is the key factor of a tube settler. So the particle will rapidly settle down and will reach the sloped surface, and then these particles will start sliding down to the bottom. So remember, the particles will go down while the water is flowing up, and then the sludge will be collected through the sludge hoppers to disposal. So this process, actually the tube settler process, will provide a particle settling depth that is significantly less than the settling depth of a conventional clarifier. So as I have already explained, so this is the depth, the traveling depth, and this will reduce the settling times. Consequently, we will need less space, less volume, while having a very efficient settling process. Now let's go through the types of tube settlers. We can have a packaged tube settler unit. So what does this mean? We can have an already manufactured package. So this is mainly used for small to medium scale projects. And within these packages, we have a coagulation and flocculation unit. So this is the unit here, for example. We have the influent water, so the raw water that will enter. We can add the chemicals, have the quick mixing, then the slow mixing within the flocculation tank, and then the water can go through a lamella clarifier. So notice how compact these systems are. And also tube settlers can be used for big projects, so for big water treatment or wastewater treatment plants, as you can see here. So this is a clarification tank with tube settlers. So the water will be flowing up through these tube settlers, and then it will be collected through these V notches. So we have V notch, and the V notch is mainly used to ensure a laminar flow, so to limit the turbulence. I want a calm water. And then the treated water will be collected in this channel. So this is another picture of a sedimentation tank with tube settlers. This is filled with water. Notice the water is collected through these V-notches and then directed to the collection channel. This is another picture. Notice how the water is being collected within the V-notches. And notice how calm is the water within the tank. We don't have turbulence. Notice how calm is the process. This is the key factor of the success of tube settlers. For the tube settler material, it is usually PVC and polypropylene or PP, and we prefer the usage of plastics, let's say, because they are lightweight, corrosion resistant, chemically resistant, easy to assemble and install, and of course they are cheaper than metals. PVC, they are commonly used because they are economical, durable for many water and wastewater applications, and the polypropylene also, it offers good chemical resistance and can perform better in some temperature or aging conditions. Other possible materials, of course, we can use the stainless steel, but it is way more expensive than plastics. FRP, CPVC, and HDPE, these can be also used in some lamella settlers, depending on the application, but as I have already said, PVC and polypropylene are the most widely used, and they actually do a very good job. For the maintenance, it really depends on the amount of sludge I have within my water. So if my water has lots of particles and is very turbid, I might need to clean my tube settlers once a month. And if it has low turbidity or acceptable turbidity, it can go to once a year. So it really depends on the amount of sludge I am dealing with, but a tube settler needs cleaning. An easy way to clean the tube settler, it is the hydraulic flushing method, or in other words, we use high pressure water flow to scrub or to remove the sludge layer and to clean the tube settlers. This is mainly used if I have normal turbidity and normal sludge deposit. If I have lots of mud, let's say, look here at the picture, high pressure water might not be that efficient. We will need to manually or automatically remove the stubborn sludge through mechanical devices like sludge scraping boards or brushes. And sometimes also we might need some chemicals to dissolve or disperse vicious substances. Here we are talking about grease and biofilm. So grease, as you know, our water can contain fat, oil, and grease. And with time I can have a formation of biofilm, and these can stick on the tube settlers. So I will need here to use some chemicals like sodium hypochlorite. Sodium hypochlorite is actually a chlorine solution, liquid chlorine, that can be added to the tube settlers. And this is very effective to sterilize and to remove algae. We can also use sodium hydroxide for grease removal or special cleaning agents. Sodium hypochlorite is actually a very easy and cheap way to clean and disinfect a tube settler. Now let's go through the advantages and disadvantages of tube settlers. The main advantage of a tube settler, it is the smaller footprint. So I have a very high settling capacity in a smaller tank compared to the conventional water treatment plant. Also, it can be retrofit friendly, so we can upgrade the existing sedimentation tanks. So if I have already the conventional sedimentation tank, we can place tube settler within these tanks instead of building new clarifiers. So let's say I want to expand my treatment plant and treat higher flows. Instead of building another sedimentation tank, we can simply place these tube settlers within these tanks, and we will have an enhanced settling process and also with the ability to treat larger volumes. We have also higher effective settling area. The inclined surfaces improve particle capture and clarification. We have already explained this part. Also faster clarification. Because of the shorter settling distance, we have improved removal at the same detention time. Often we have lower capital costs, especially if we have already a settling tank, for example. So we can expand the capacity and the treatment volumes by simply adding modules, which is cheaper than new civil works. Also, tube settlers are modular and scalable. We can easily add or remove modules based on required capacity. For the disadvantages, now let's check the disadvantages. Of course, we have clogging and fouling risk. A tube settler can clog with algae. We can have algae growth with time, grease, heavy solids loading, or poor floc formation. Also, hydraulics must be very well designed. Poor inlet-outlet distribution causes short-circuiting and uneven loading. Also, don't forget that the flow must be laminar and not turbulent. Maintenance and cleaning needed. It requires access for periodic washing, cleaning, and inspection. And also it is not ideal for very high solids or sticky solids, especially when dealing with wastewaters. It can overload tubes and increase blockage. Thank you for watching this lecture. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.